And we're live. Welcome back to the
I
Dr.
am
Z
back.
Show. I'm Tony.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Tony and Jacob. Good job, Jacob. We have become one.
No, that's me. That's me and another friend of ours from high school.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep, we is the same person.
Let's just let's not get down into that rabbit hole because that just became confusing, and it was a shit post before shit posting was a thing. I feel like a
I
lot of a lot of stuff from when we were in high school was shit posting before shit posting existed.
actually I would disagree. I think it only was really confusing in the context of like literally everyone else in our friend group and the like convoluted relationships that existed via like the theater and dance program and like uh band and stuff. Because there were all
Right.
those weird like she's my mother and you're her uncle father like weirdness.
We were dating at the time, weren't we? Her and I?
Not
Not
us.
you, not you and I. Her and I.
Pronouns are fun. Um, yes, I believe.
Or
So
at least for part of that.
yeah, it was around that time in our lives. Ninth
And I
grade.
mean, and the running joke was always that she would call me by your name.
I couldn't hear you.
She would call me by your name when
Oh,
running joke.
yeah.
So for anybody that's actually watching the background, I'm playing Dune 2, which is Command and Conquer before Command and Conquer was Command and Conquer, and I'm a huge fan of Command and Conquer.
I think you
If
said that
anybody
wrong.
cares.
Isn't it Command and Conkeldurr?
Sure.
The Pokemon RTS. That's what they should have named that game. Pokemon Conquest.
Maybe. Okay.
You could just do a
So
reskinning.
what?
You could do a reskinning of Command and Conquer with Pokemon and call it Command and Conkeldurr.
Oh, wasn't Conkeldurr the Pokemon that like became like Girder or something? It was like a fighting Pokemon that had like
Conkeldurr was
construction.
the final one. So it started out with Timber and then it became Girder and then it was Conkeldurr. So like he starts out like only lifting like a beam of wood and then he starts lifting a beam of steel and then he has two giant slabs of concrete.
That seems weird, but okay.
I
I have
mean,
completely lost interest already in playing this game. Gotta say.
looks
Because I used
amazing.
to play Dune 2000, which was like an updated version of Dune 2, and so like I just like completely lost interest. I've already lost interest in playing it. Oh, whoops. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, anyway. So we got super sidetracked last cast and realized that the fourth thing that Jacob was going to talk about was why it's called the Dr. Z show. Except he forgot. So
As I
Jacob,
do.
please explain why it is called the Dr. Z show.
And now we're going to have an
Jacob does.
entirely separate YouTube channel called Jacob Explains that will copy every other YouTube channel that is called
We are
Blank Explain.
never ever going to explain the Bionicle story again though.
That's true. We did that once, and it was a 40-minute long video. That here we are getting
I
sidetracked
remember
again.
us looking at the Wikipedia article and being like, ah, it's not that bad. And then being like,
Mm-hmm.
we have made a mistake.
Yeah, at least in terms of length of the video, it didn't seem like it was gonna be that bad, but it is wicked convoluted. So the reason that this is called the Dr. Z show is in high school we had a friend and we in our friend group there
We
were about
only
five
had
of us.
we only had one friend in high school.
Yeah, just the one. Um, so we we would hang out and everything and her dad we do, just make silly commentary to each other about life and things that are going on around us. And her dad said on multiple occasions, like, you two should have your own show. And we're like, yeah, and we were just kind of like, like, whatever, like, people would people would say that to us, but I think he said it the most out of anyone. Like,
Yeah,
other people had made that
he's.
observation.
I think it was like he said it, and then we started noticing other people saying it. Also, like this, we keep in mind like this is like 2008 and 9. This is like in the very early days of like podcasting and like the
Yes.
first iPhone, like I don't know, the first iPhone I don't even think was out then, but like podcasts existed, but they were like very rare. It was like very early days of podcasting.
Well, iPhones had to have been out because I know some of our friends had Android phones, like the early Android phones, and those definitely came out after the iPhone.
Oh
So
yeah, no, you're right, you're right. I know who you're thinking of, I think.
yeah, I don't know the exact release date of the first iPhone, but I think it must have come out like a little bit before that. Because yeah, this was like 10th, 11th grade. Is
The other thing I
when
want to mention, sorry to interrupt you again, but the other thing I want to mention is like I don't know if we said this last time, but this show is completely unscripted. Like we like decided before we got on, like, okay, we're gonna finally explain why it's called the Dr. Z show, and at this time we still haven't done that. But like we're not like gonna, oh, okay, we need to mention, this was before iPhones, or like the iPhone came out then, or whatever. Like this show is unscripted. Like we're not gonna look up this stuff. We'll have like topics that we're gonna talk about, but like other than that, it's meant to be our commentary.
yeah, the other the other thing that is evidence of that, unless we were really, really good at writing and scarily good at mental manipulation, is the amount of times that any given one of us would use the word "like" in a sentence. That's a pretty common issue with modern people.
Like I don't know what you're talking about though.
I don't know, like, what you mean, like, man.
Okay, so our
Like,
friend's dad.
yeah. So he said this to us. So the reason that it's called the Dr. Z show is I just assumed that, or so our friend, like, her last name started with Z, and so we often referred to him kind of. I just because he was her
He was a
parents, they were
scientist.
engineer. Yeah, they were like engineers, scientists. I mean, people can get angry over the, like, distinction between being an engineer or a scientist. It's sometimes it's similar enough to me, but anyways. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so
but
the person
you're
who's
more
studying
accurate.
engineering.
Yeah. So we're all engineers down here. Um, so I totally thought that he had a doctorate, and so I referred to him as Dr. Z because, that was just, it was easier than saying like his full name, because it was kind of a long last name. Like,
Kind of. It's like 12
Doc,
letters or something, isn't it?
yeah, I mean, it's only 3 syllables in the end. So I mean, any of you who have 3 syllable last names, like,
Us
they're
us lazy
long.
millennials gotta shorten everything. Damn
I mean, yours is
kids.
4.
What?
Well, you have 4 syllables.
Holy shit, I do.
Sounds like a
Wow, that's
disease.
irritating. That's probably what I tell my dance students to just call me Tony.
Yeah.
Then again, that's like teaching dance, which I feel like needs to be like less formal.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah. So in honor of his observations, we decided
The
to name this
scientific
Dr. Z.
observations, you could say.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it was really funny because we found out later that he didn't have a doctorate. We were
Yeah,
like, wait
I
a
remember
second.
he asked me once. He was like, "Why do you guys always call me Dr. Z?" And we were like, I remember being like, "Well, because
That's what you are.
that's like your title." It's like, what are you talking about? He was like, "No." He was really confused, and then I was really confused because I think at one point you might have like told me, or maybe I just like assumed because you called him that he was. And so then everyone was confused. Like, and I remember our friend asking you, like, once or twice on multiple occasions, like, why do you call my dad that? And I don't think you ever answered the question.
Probably not.
You probably just like thought she was trying to be funny or like trying to make a joke or something.
Nope. I legitimately thought he had a doctorate.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
like very
for some people,
smart.
you just
Like,
kind of assume, like it just seems like they'd have a doctorate,
yeah,
like
he
from
like
the way that
looks
they
like one of
carry
those.
themselves.
I'm like definitely gonna stereotype him into like looking like one of those people that like should have a doctor.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called the Dr. Z show, in his honor, in the honor of the doctorate he does not have,
We're giving him an honorary
an
doctorate.
honorary doctorate.
Yeah, in the college of podcast. I don't know. We'll just make our own podcast or our own college.
Like our own
Yeah.
college, blackjack and hookers. I make that
Um,
reference all the time. It's a Futurama reference for anybody that doesn't know. I make that Futurama
uh,
reference all the
I don't
time.
even know.
Everybody's like, "What are you talking? Like, what did blackjack and hookers have to do with anything?" And I'm just like, I just like feel awkward when I say it, and people like look at me and they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But I love to make that reference.
Are you in the room where you get
It's for me.
the secret? Where the on that box down there is the secret room full
Oh
with
yeah, for
the.
anybody who's not watching, I'm playing Chex Quest again and redoing the first 3 levels because I forgot to save like an idiot. And yes, I am doing that.
Okay.
Where
Yeah, I
the
was just wondering
last
if
device
you're gonna
in the
skip it
90s.
because I know last episode you showed it off just to kind of be like, hey, this exists. But
It's the only place in the game to get the last device, and you kind of need it
really,
for the last couple missions.
I had no. That's interesting.
As far as I know, it's the only place in the game where you can get it. Also, I forgot to mention this. It has mapping, and you
Wait,
can play
what?
the game.
No
Yeah, check this
way.
out. You can play the game while the map is on.
Oh man, that's like Enter the Gungeon. That's awesome.
Yeah, it
Speaking.
it looks like Enter the Gungeon if Enter the Gungeon were like looked like garbage. looked
um,
like looked like this.
speaking.
Pixels.
Well, wait a second. Flashback. Isn't Enter the Gungeon all pixels? um,
Okay. I am going to reach my hand through my microphone and you're gonna get punched in the face.
I didn't hear that last part, so I don't know what I'm gonna get punched in. I assume it's throat.
Probably. Just that's a safe assumption to make.
Yeah. Speaking of games where you can get items at the beginning that you can pretty much only get at the beginning,
That
there
way
was.
to narrow it down.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty narrow list. Like, okay, maybe we can narrow it even further by saying items that you can only get at the beginning that are like really powerful,
Okay, sure, that makes sense.
or like things that you can only get on a second playthrough, like kind of those. So at the beginning, so there was a game that I was
In the beginning.
playing in the beginning, Mufasa. Um, so brain. Okay, so I was playing this game for the PS2. It was the
Classic.
Lord of the Rings
Classic
game.
choice.
I don't remember, and I was playing at my neighbor's house because I didn't own a PS2, but he did. And I'm trying to remember the name of the game. It was Lord of the Ring. It wasn't Two Towers,
Was it Return
but
of
it
the
was
King? Or was it the Hobbit game?
no, it wasn't, and it wasn't any of the ones with the normal titles. It was like Lord of the Rings, like something adventures. I don't know, like more.
I'm gonna interrupt you. So remember last time how I mentioned that the melee is a spoon?
Super Boots work. Oh my gosh,
Gah!
that's awesome. That's really great.
I'm gonna go
Um,
find something to use it on.
but something was really, and the game was really cool because you played as kind of like a collection of for the most part non-main characters, but you were following the story the whole time. So
Oh,
like
like sort of in the background, like Enter the
yeah,
Matrix.
yeah. And it was actually a really good game. It was like turn-based, turn-based kind of like random encounters a little bit. And the fights were actually really fun. Like using the um, using the characters and their different abilities was really nice. You had like kind of the typical like main guy who uses a sword who is really strong, and then usually the girl that you get is a healer of some sort, but she actually has like really awesome magic later on. And then some of the fights are really crazy, and you like are so thankful that someone can heal on the team. And it had 2 player for this game, which I thought was really cool, and so we were playing it together.
Yeah, I definitely
you
thought
know,
I knew what game you were talking about, and I gotta say, I have no fucking idea.
I could look it up, but uh, in that game, there was a part where right after the Nazgul fight, we had no idea what to do. Like the game, I think the game like glitched out because like you would fight them and it was a really crazy fight, and then afterwards you couldn't leave the area and you couldn't interact with anything, and like you couldn't really save, and we were just really confused. We're like, what the heck is happening? So then so we decided like, okay, we'll just restart. Like maybe this is like some kind of weird, maybe it's just some weird bug and we'll restart. But the game had this feature where you could, and I think you unlocked it like halfway through the game, you could play through you could play through levels as the villains instead of the heroes.
That's
And when you did that, you unlocked these extra items for your main playthrough, and so you could apply those unlocked items to like a new save. And so we
oh,
basically,
it couldn't be the same save.
I think so. um so we used one, and we we used one of those items, and it was the sword that like, and I think it wasn't like you automatically got them, it was you could find them in chests.
Oh, like in the map.
Yeah. And so we got this sword that was better than any weapon we'd even had in the original playthrough that we were doing. Um, and it just murdered everything. Like every single enemy boss just like take 9,000 damage. Okay, great. Like this is wonderful. But then we got to the Nazgul fight, and same thing.
And it
Like
did
we
one
got
damage.
yeah, I did 1 damage. It was really nothing. No, we beat the Nazgul fight again, and we were stuck. And then eventually we stopped playing because his, I think the save file got corrupted somehow, and then it like deleted everything. And so we were like, well, there's no point in playing through this at this point.
Okay, so I gotta ask, how did that
We were
how did
talking
that
about the
tie
last.
into what we were talking about?
We were talking about the last cannon, how you could only get it at the beginning, and I was reminded of that.
Oh, okay. Powerful items at the beginning of the game. Also, like, if you know what the fuck Jacob was talking about, please let us know what game that is in the comments.
Oh, I'm looking for it. IGN has an article called "The 5 Best and 5 Worst Lord of the Rings Games."
Ah, yes, IGN. I will trust that. That was sarcasm. How long have we been going? Can you actually look at that?
I
Oh, look at it.
cannot
People,
look at it. Look at it.
people, like cereals
It
of
wasn't
Mazoik.
Battle for Middle Earth, Fellowship of the Ring. It wasn't Conquest. It wasn't Aragorn's Quest. Oh, I think it was maybe it was the Third Age.
Oh crap, we've been here for 19 minutes.
I think it might have been Lord. I think it might have been the Third Age.
The Third Age is the game I know nothing about, so you might be right.
Yeah, it was the Third Age. It was an awesome game.
Not sponsored. All right.
Oh, it's listed as one of the worst games, but I enjoyed it.
You
It says
always
that
like terrible games.
this is
In
true.
fact, we're gonna cut right here actually, and we'll probably we'll have a talk about what our next episode's gonna be about. And who knows? Maybe we'll update it right away because we're both chilling. But you and I both know what we're talking about.
Yep.
Don't. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna save this time, like not a moron, and we will see you next time on the Dr. Z show.
Yeah.
Let us
And
know what Lord of the Rings games you all like. If you like Lord of the Rings or games or Lord of the Rings games. If you
yeah.
don't, then let us know what your favorite breed of
Yeah.
dog
and
is or
I
something.
don't like if you. I don't wait. I don't like no. I don't care if you like or subscribe. Only comment because then it gives us more like more nightmare fuel for future episodes.
Oh man, this again. See y'all.